I am Prof.L.B.Gayakawad who is talking today about a new subject, and the subject is killing your enemies. But before discussing this subject, I will request you to watch my channel, like my channel, share my channel and comment my channel. With this, I will start the subject. The subject is that there are the enemies in our body. Which are the enemies? Actually, I am not discussing about the enemies who are men and women around us. The men and women are good for us. But there are the enemies in our body, and those enemies are really very enemies of us. I will discuss that there is the first enemy of man and woman is the sex. So what is sex? S-E-X, sex. So I will tell you the definition of the sex. This sex comes into the body of a girl and a boy, and it becomes the enemy of them. How it becomes the enemy of them? I will give you the explanation. When that girl comes into the particular age of sex, that girl likes the boy. And when the boy comes into the body of the sex, he likes that girl. Means there is the attraction for each other, and they want to be the lovers of each other. That is the particular thing which is about the sex. But being lovers is not only the important thing. I am not against that the girl and boys should not be the lovers. I am not against this particular point, but my point is very important, that if they understand the sex of their bodies, in their bodies, then definitely I explain here that their life will change very differently, and they will create something for themselves and for others in the society. I will tell you the example of Swami Vivekananda. This Swami Vivekananda was very, I will say, strong, very robust. I will say he was very handsome. He was very, I will say he was looking as he had the beauty of a woman. A beautiful woman means he had the beauty of a beautiful woman. And that's why when that lady was influenced by his beauty, and she came to him and she expressed her feeling that I want a son like you. It means that that lady wanted to marry him, and she wanted to make him her husband. If there was the common man, he would have taken that particular thing very differently. If there was a boy and there was a girl of this modern society, they would have taken this thing very differently. But this gentleman, this Swami Vivekananda said, oh, if you want like this, what will be the use of this? You will marry me, but there will be no use of this. Means it will be a wrong thing. So it is better that you should understand me, your son. So remember, when Vivekananda says like this, means Vivekananda, the greatest saint, I will tell you, if he says like this about the sex. So when he said like this to that woman, the sex of that woman or the attraction of that woman went away and she became the disciple of this gentleman. So remember here, my point is that sex is like this. If Vivekananda had become her husband and if he had married her, then he wouldn't have the Swami Vivekananda. He became the Swami Vivekananda because of sacrificing his sex, because of living his sex. So my point is that we should understand the sex. The sex is very important. That is the useful thing for production. If this sex is utilized very properly, if this sex is used for beneficial points, then this sex is very important. Because in our traditional life, there is the system of the marriages. When our daughter becomes young or when our son becomes young, then we arrange the marriages. And this marriage system is very important. So marriage, when we manage such marriages, when we arrange such marriages and we manage the marriages of our sons and daughters, then we do the celebration of that particular sex, I will say, because that is the function of the sex. Remember, please try to understand, this is the function of the sex. But this function of the sex has the particular tradition, has the particular rule and regulation. Because if there is the rule and regulation to the particular sex, then this sex is very important for man. It is the means of the production. It is the means of the greatest production. Means we can bear sons and daughters with the help of this sex. So we have seen many great persons in the society only because of the utilization of this particular sex. So this sex should be utilized properly. If this sex is not utilized properly, then I will tell you definitely that the life of the man becomes very dirty. For example, if this sex becomes the passion, passion. What is the passion? Passion is the particular hunger. Passion is the particular, I will say, following, the particular following, chasing. And this chasing and this following and this passion and this thirst and hunger never stop. These things never stop. And these things create the damages to the society. So if this sex is used in a scientific way, then it is very, very true that this sex will not be our enemy. This sex will be our friend, because you will use this sex scientifically. And so that's why this sex should be utilized very, very scientifically. Scientifically means it should be utilized only for the benefit of man and woman's welfare. So that is the point. So remember, my point is that our enemies are not the men and women. Our enemies are the subjects in our body. And the first subject I discussed with you, giving some points, and that is the sex. So sex should be given importance scientifically. This sex should not be given importance in the way that this sex will insult the women, or it will create the damages to the society of women. I will give you the example of the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaja, who gave the importance to the woman. The woman was there in his kingdom, and that woman, or I will say all the women were living very, I will say, very lovingly, very, very happily, very, very, I will say, without fear, they were living there in his kingdom, and the particular freedom was there to the woman. And that's why here today we can say that this Shivaji Maharaja is the best king, was the best king, and there will be no king like this Shivaji, because he gave the importance to the women. He did not like the passion. He did not like the sex. He liked the sex, no doubt at all. He respected the sex also. But he respected that sex with rules and regulations. Means there is the rule that such and such woman is my wife because I have married her and she has married me. That is the important point, because we have some rules and regulations. So remember, if there is the culture, if there is the moralism, culture, these 2 points are there, if these points are there in a society, then I definitely tell you that all the society can be very much scientific, can be very much moralized, and this society can be the greatest society in the world, because these subjects, these, I will say, issues in the body. So I will tell you the example of the greatest poet, and that great poet is D.H. Lawrence. D.H. Lawrence has suggested in his poem, now I don't know the name of that poem, but actually I am remembering that particular point at this time. D.H. Lawrence in his poem has said that though man is very, very educated, but he cannot stop his subjects in the body. He cannot stop his issues in the body. He cannot stop his sex in the body. He cannot stop the passion in his body. He cannot stop the hunger and thirst of dirty things in his body. Because education is there, that is very different, and culture is there, that is very different. If the sons and daughters are given the culture every day, if they have been told the importance of the culture, or if we tell them the importance of the culture every day, then they will understand the importance of these issues in their bodies. They should be brought about these subjects. They should be told about these subjects, that these subjects are nothing but their enemies. So we should always tell them about these subjects. How we can tell them about these subjects? We can tell them about these subjects only by giving the lessons of the, culture and moralism. It is not necessary that when time will come and then we will say, sit down and I am giving you the lesson of the moralism and I am giving you the lesson of the culture. That is not the point which I want to say here. My point is that when time comes, suppose in society many things happen. If something has happened, so at the happening of that particular thing, we should say so and so a point of the culture to the son and daughter. Means they will understand like this. And if we want to give them the culture, we should give them this culture from the beginning. Means when they have become to understand a thing. When they have got the age of understanding, from that age or since that particular point, they should be told about the culture. When your daughter will be of 18 years old and your son will be 18 years old, and then you will tell that this is the culture and you should not do like this and this is not better, then that son and that daughter will not understand all this. But when they are very little, when they have got the age of 5 years, 6 years, then easily in your home you should tell them easily, casually, by going here and there. You can make that atmosphere, and you can create that particular atmosphere, and you can give the lesson to them like this, how these I will say sex, how this passion, thirst. Yes, I will tell you that the thirst, passion, sex, all these things are very important if they are treated scientifically or properly. So we should give our sons and daughters the technique of using these particular things very scientifically. Then I definitely tell you, then your sons and daughters will be really the best people in the society, and all the property of the society, all the estate of the God will be in their hands. With this, I stop here. Please, I request you again, share my videos with your friends. With this, I stop here. Thank you very much.